Nearly 4 years ago, Gracie Mansion became my home. Who would have thought that a kid from South Jamaica, Queens, growing up with learning disabilities could one day become the mayor of the greatest city in the world? I cannot thank my mother enough for instilling in me the values she lived by. I hope every parent can use my life as an example for their child during challenging moments. Only in America can a story like this be told. When I was elected to serve as your mayor, I said these words: "This campaign was never about me. It was about the people of this city, from every neighborhood and background, who had been left behind and believed they would never catch up. This campaign was for the underserved, the marginalized, the abandoned, and betrayed by government. Since then, it has been my honor to be your mayor, and I'm proud to say that we took that victory 4 years ago and turned it into action, making this city better for those who have been failed by government. I felt immense pride serving you every day, and look at what we accomplished together."
Eric Adams is, I'm not really sure what his legacy is going to be, simply because he was mayor at a time where New York was probably at its most tumultuous that I can remember in recent memory, simply because of the pandemic. Obviously, we know that he, along with several other mayors, was adamant about becoming and embracing illegal migrants as a sanctuary city. And then he became embroiled when he no longer wanted to play games and play along with the Biden administration in the same way that Brandon Johnson and Mike Johnson and Karen Bass and so on and so forth. He became embroiled in controversy because they then tried to convict him and throw some charges on him and taking false bribes or something like that from Turkey and all of that other type of stuff. And then amidst that, you had Trump come in, and then the charges was dropped, and then you seen Zohran Mamdani throw his hat in the ring as a socialist and communist. And it looks like Zohran is going to be the mayor of New York City, in which we'll cover that on the Millionaire Morning Show, as far as what that's going to look like and how New York is going to go on the toilet. But it's so funny because I'm looking at this whole press conference, and on my way back to Michigan, because I had to fly down to Miami yesterday, and so it was a quick turnaround. On my way back to Michigan today, I was sitting next to a guy that did, I don't want to say what his name is, but I was sitting next to a guy who used to live in Manhattan, and he was just like, "Yo, Anton, I was living in Manhattan for over 40 years, and it is completely going down the drain. The New York that we once knew, and, you know, the city of dreams," and I was talking about this on the Millionaire Morning Show the other day, "the New York that we once knew is no more." And he was like, "Yo, if this Mamdani guy winds up becoming mayor of New York, it is going to just completely implode, and we'll probably never get that city back." Lo and behold, I get off the plane, my text messages is going crazy, and I get three different subjects in which I was supposed to cover. The first one was a shooting in Grand Blanc, Michigan, in which the guy killed 10 people. The second was a shooting in North Carolina. Again, rest in peace and prayers up for both of those cities and those families. And then the third was this one: Eric Adams deciding that he wanted to drop out of the race. And I suspect, which we haven't gotten there yet, but we're going to get through it, I suspect it's because he's still embroiled in controversy, and he probably never seen a pathway to being successful, considering that he had, finances, campaign finances, that was preventing him from really getting the endorsements and the support, as well as being able to advertise and promote the way that he wants to. But let's continue to hear the rest of what he has to say.
We built more housing in one term than any administration before us, and removed barriers to build even more. We drove crime down so far that this year we are on track to have fewer shootings and murders than at any point in our city's history. We raised test scores and attendance through bold education reforms. We made record investments that fueled our economy and drove employment to all-time highs. And we lowered costs for working and low-income families, expanding funding for rental vouchers, childcare, and household costs.
I'm going to do some fact checking in the morning, but we just doing an initial reaction. I'm not really sure how true all of this is, but like I said, I'll have a little bit of time to do some research by the time we hit it on the Millionaire Morning Show tomorrow.
While eliminating the income tax burden for more than 500,000 New Yorkers. Even so, I know many New Yorkers have yet to feel the full impact of these historic achievements. I know many are still worried about affordability, about safety, and their future here. But trust me when I tell you, what we've started will continue to reach every community in this city. It's not always easy to see the impact of good policy in just 3 years. I also know some remain unsure of me after the unfortunate events surrounding my federal case. I was wrongfully charged because I fought for this city. And if I had to do it again, I would fight for New York again. And yet, despite all we've achieved, I cannot continue my re-election campaign. The constant media speculation about my future and the campaign finance board's decision to withhold millions of dollars have undermined my ability to raise the funds needed for a serious campaign.
So, yeah, I was right. So basically, they withhold money. He feels like that's preventing him from being able to make a serious bid to be able to go against the establishment. The establishment has now moved away from Eric Adams, which we already knew that, and they're getting behind and throwing their full support behind Mamdani, which is a socialist and a communist that is going to destroy New York. And I suspect that he's going to be the next mayor, which is going to be disastrous at minimum.
I hope that over time, New Yorkers will see this city thrive under our leadership, and that policies we put in place should be continued and expanded. I hope you will see that despite the headlines and innuendo, I always put you before me, always. I'm proud of the historic leadership team we built, appointing the first Dominican, Indian, and Filipino deputy mayors, the first woman to serve as fire commissioner and police commissioner, the first Korean commissioner at Small Business Services, the first Spanish speaker to lead the NYPD and DOT, and the first Jewish woman to head the NYPD Intelligence Division. We built leadership that looks like New York. That mattered to me because at my core, I'm still Dorothy Adams' son, raised with the values she instilled in me, forged in my church and in my community, tested again and again in the fight for justice. Those values, working class values, would never allow me to betray my city. They have always guided me to ask and answer one simple question: how do I help those who need it most? Whoever follows me at City Hall must continue the work we started, lowering the cost of living, investing in quality of life, and staying laser focused on reducing crime and disorder through investments in policing, mental health, substance abuse care, homelessness services, and community-based initiatives. But I must also sound a warning. Extremism is growing in our politics. Our children are being radicalized to hate our city and our country. Political anger is turning into political violence. Too often, insidious forces use local government to advance divisive agendas with little regard for how it hurts everyday New Yorkers. Major change is welcome and necessary, but beware of those who claim the answer to destroy the very system we built together over generations. That is not change, that is chaos.
So basically, he's saying that this incoming guy, who he anticipates is probably going to win, his Mamdani guy, is basically going to destroy the New York that he's come to know and love, and that a lot of people aspire to at one point experience or move to. He's just doing it without actually saying a name.
Instead, I urge New Yorkers to choose leaders not by what they promise, but by what they have delivered. Although this is the end of my reelection campaign, it is not the end of my public service. I will continue to fight for this city, as I have for 40 years since the day I joined the NYPD, to make our streets safer and our systems fairer. The quest for justice is far from over. Inequality persists, innocents still suffer. New Yorkers deserve better every single day. And until the end of my term, I will fight for just that. We faced the fallout of COVID, a surge in crime, an unprecedented migrant crisis, and economic devastation all at once. And together, we turned things around by listening to everyday people and providing solutions instead of speeches. That gives me hope. That gives us a roadmap to a better future. My fellow New Yorkers, this is your city. Its leaders work for you. I am one of you. My story is your story.
Yeah, we get it. So basically, he's dropping out of the race because he couldn't use the money that he needed to use and raise to mount a campaign, and he knew that he was going to lose, and so he's saving face. And New York is about to crumble, and he don't believe in this incoming person that's probably going to win. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Obviously, we're going to cover this in full on the Millionaire Morning Show tomorrow.